So you want to be a missionary, but for now, you have to wait. Let's talk about that. So right now, things are a bit crazy, right? And for a lot of people, this is a real season of having to wait. And maybe for you, you want to be a missionary and you're on that road to becoming a missionary, but you've been forced to wait. Maybe it's because of the whole COVID stuff. Maybe it's for different issues. Maybe it's for health or family. Maybe it's support raising. Maybe you've just been told that you need to wait for a little while to do some training or something. For whatever reason, you want to be a missionary, but you have to wait, and that's really hard. And look, I get it. When I was training to be a missionary coming out to Japan, I had to wait as well. And that was really hard for me. I was super excited to come back to Japan full time, and I had to delay that. But I've come to see that that's a really important part of being a missionary, and actually being a follower of Jesus. We need to learn to embrace the wait. The first time I came out to Japan was pretty easy. I came out for a year. I was doing on a working holiday visa, so that was kind of easy to get, just a few trips down to the London embassy. The support raising for that year wasn't particularly hard either. It was kind of a very low budget, and I had people who were supporting me, so that was okay. It went really smoothly. So when I was preparing to come back to Japan full-time as a missionary, in my mind I thought it would be very similar, but it wasn't. I had to wait for quite a while. There were two main things that caused me to wait. The first one was Bible college, seminary, kind of theological training. So I thought coming back that in the future I might want to do church planting or work around that, and so I was told that really I should do at least 2 years at Bible college. And I was a bit kind of hesitant to do that because I really wanted to be back in Japan straight away, but I realised the importance of the training, so I said, okay, let's go for that. Signed up for 2 years. But even just into the first year, I realised actually I would probably need more than 2 years. So I signed up for a third year. And that was a really tough decision to make, but it felt like the right one, because I could see that there was still a lot of areas that I needed to grow in my understanding, to grow in who I was as a person, in my character. I could see that the time spent there would be really useful. And the second thing that delayed me though was the support raising, finances. I had kind of naively decided in my mind that I would be able to do all of my support raising in the third year. Right, that I would graduate from Bible college, spend a month or two maybe travelling around the UK to visit churches and friends, and then be straight off out to Japan. And that's not how it went at all. So I came out and I had done some support raising and had my kind of figure I needed to get to. And by the summer I was at about 60%. But really my support just stuck there. And the weeks went by and the weeks turned into months, and it was kind of etching up kind of 1 or 2% at a time. But I had these deadlines I needed to meet in order to go out on these kind of orientation courses before I could go. And I went past kind of one deadline, and I went past another deadline, and then there's a third deadline coming up, and I just wasn't reaching the target, and it was a real time of having to wait, and it was really hard, and I started to question and doubt and have all of these frustrations. Obviously I made it to Japan, I'm here, but it was really about a year extra on what I was thinking I'd have to wait, on top of already extending my stay in the UK for another year of Bible college. And now looking back, I can see actually in that time God was really working in me, that he was growing me, that he was working in my heart in a whole load of issues of pride and trust and kind of self-reliance and bitterness and envy and all these things that he was working in, as well as just teaching me to walk more closely with him and enjoy walking with him. So if you're in a time now where you're having to wait, don't resent that, embrace the time of waiting, because God will work in that to change you and mold you and grow you. There are of course practical things we can do in times of waiting, and I'll talk about them in a later video. But for now, let me leave you with some words from King David when he was reflecting on times of waiting. He says, "I have calmed and quieted myself, like a child of its mother, like a child I am content." And then he says this, "Israel, put your hope in the Lord, both now and forevermore." In times of waiting, we tend to either get really frustrated and fret and worry, Or we put our hope in the future, right? Like once this is over, or once I have this, or once I've achieved this, then things will be okay. But God's word to us is to trust in him today, tomorrow, now and forevermore, to put our trust in the Lord, because he is good and we can trust him.